Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's live video. So, you might have gathered that this week is all about thinking about our goals and where they are going to take us. So, as normal, it'd be great to have you say hello. So, if you could put hashtag live or hashtag replay, and perhaps we'll have hashtag goals in there or goal setting as well. That would be great. So, yesterday I talked about why goals were important, and I shared some personal goals of mine and some different ways of setting some goals for you. And today's focus is really about okay, but once we know what that goal might be, how do we make that a really great goal? Something that's going to help us stay on track, keep us motivated, and we can build an action plan for. So, you might be thinking that this is about the topic of the goal, but like I said yesterday, I've got goals across all different areas of my life and business, so it's not really about the topic. You might also be thinking it's about the value of the goal. So maybe you think for something to be a great goal, it needs to be philanthropic or it needs to deliver something that's world changing or life changing for you. Well, it's not really about that either. To be honest, it's about it being really important to you. So, what really matters to me about the goals is that you set goals that are something you really want to achieve, because then you're much more likely to commit to them and do the actions that need doing. And when it's difficult to do those, you're much more likely to go, no, there was a reason I wanted to do this. I really care about achieving this. I'm going to do it. So, let's have a think about that in a bit more detail. So, once you've got a goal that means something to you, the next thing is about committing to it. Okay, and there's two really great ways of committing to our goals. The first of those is to write it down. So it's statistically proven that people who commit their goals to paper are more likely to achieve them. Secondly, is to tell other people about it. And the reason we might want to do that is those other people are then going to hold us to account for achieving the goals. Okay, so if you tell somebody that you're going to do something by a certain date, they're going to ask you whether you've done it. They're quite likely to ask how you're progressing towards it. So it adds to the accountability that we feel for ourselves, but also with other people supporting us and challenging us to achieve those goals. So that's part one. Part two, when we think about what makes a great goal, is actually how we format that goal. So what we want to be doing then is thinking about SMART. Okay, and I guess most of you on this workshop or video will have heard SMART before. Okay, there's loads of different formats of what SMART in terms of goals stands for. Lots of different ones out there. If I'm totally honest, if you tell me whether you can remember it and what it stands for, 9 times out of 10 people don't get all of the letters and don't understand what it's all about. So I'm going to run through what I think SMART's really all about. And the first thing is about being specific, so the letter S. Okay. And this is about making sure when you set your goals, you make it something that's specific so you know whether you've done it or not. Okay. So what we're thinking about is things like rather than saying, I want to lose weight, I want to lose a stone by this particular date. Rather than saying, I want to be able to get fit, we want to think about, well, what does that mean? So for me at the minute, like I shared yesterday, that's about being able to run for 30 minutes non-stop by the end of May. Okay, so that's a particular goal I've set, but it's very specific and we can see whether we can achieve it or not. And we can celebrate when we do achieve it or put a plan in place to rectify it if we're not heading in the right direction. The second part of SMART is the M. So this stands for measurable. Okay, and some of the things that I've already said in making it specific might have made it measurable as well. But if that hasn't made your goal measurable, think about how you can make it something you can measure. So instead of, I want to be happier, you might want to say, well, I'm going to score myself at the end of every day out of 10 for how happy I felt today. And I want to see that average score move up by 10% over the next 6 months. Or if you were talking about your staff being more engaged in your business, so it might be about having 100% of your staff complete the staff development survey each quarter. Well, that's a great goal in that it's specific and it's measurable. The next thing then for me is the letter T. Okay, now I know this comes at the end of the word SMART, and we're not talking about SMT or SMT goals, okay, but T stands for time bound. And for me, it's the third most important letter. That when we set our goal, what we want to be doing is saying, great, when are we going to do that by? When is our target time for achieving it? So we're really specific about what it is, it's really measurable, and then we know exactly when we're going to do it by, which helps us to build an action plan step by step to get there because we've got a time frame to work with it. So if I think about one of the goals that I shared yesterday, that goal was about being able to run for 30 minutes non-stop by the end of May. Okay, so it's specific, it's about running. it's measurable, I'm going to be able to run for 30 minutes, and I'm going to track that on my Fitbit when I go out to run, and it's time bound because I'm going to do it by the end of May. Now, what that's enabled me to do is go away and build up a plan that says if I run 3 times a week at these intervals and do these things, I'm likely to be able to achieve that. So that's where we want to go next with this. So what I can hear now is lots of people going, well, what about the A and the R in SMART? So the A usually stands for achievable, okay? And this is about setting your goals that are specific, measurable, and time-bound, but also that you know you can put a plan in place to achieve. Now, for me, achievable is a bit of a double-edged sword, because you want it to be something that's achievable, but you probably also need your goals to be challenging. Okay, so one of the things we want to think about is balancing this is easy to achieve versus this is stretching and challenging, but I can still see I can build a plan to achieve it. So when I started running 4 or 5 weeks ago, getting to 30 minutes running within 9 weeks, which is what the Couch to 5K app takes me to, is challenging. Yeah, at the time I was struggling to run for a minute. So it's quite a difficult thing for me to do, but it does feel achievable because there's a step program to get there. There's an action plan that I can put against it. Okay. If I'd set out to say, actually, what I want to do is run a marathon at the end of May, then my goal wouldn't be achievable in the slightest. So it's the difference between those two things and creating something we can definitely build an action plan towards. So if you're interested in finding out more about all of this, by the way, our workshop this Friday at 1 o'clock is all about goal setting and planning. There'll be a link in the comments box when you watch this video back. So please click on the link to register for that. It'd be great to see some of you there. Let's get some good goals in place and get an action plan for it. The final letter within our SMART goals is the R, and that for me stands for results focus. Again, there's all sorts of different words that do get used in SMART for that, but for me, I see it as being about results focus. And that's a little bit about making sure you're in control of achieving the goal. Okay, that doesn't mean you have to be able to do everything. You might be in a position that you've got a team of people who are going to do it for you, but ultimately you're in control of setting the direction that they're going to go and making sure the actions are done and the action plan's in place and things are done to achieve that goal. Okay, it's the difference between setting a goal such as I want my husband, wife, children, parents to lose weight or get fitter. Well, it could be a great goal in that it's specific, measurable. Potentially you see it as being achievable and it's time bound, but actually unless they commit to it and it's their goal, it's not going to happen. Okay, so we want to make sure that you can achieve the results, or you can control the focus that is on those results. So I think that's the final thing really in terms of what we want to do is get to SMART goals that we are committed to, that it's something we're enthusiastic and passionate about, that we really want to achieve. So make sure it matters to you. And then final thought is once we've got it, we want to have an action plan on there. So how are we actually going to do it? And that's what Friday's webinar is all about. So it'd be great to have you sign up for Friday's workshop or webinar. Lovely to see as many people as possible there. If you know other business owners or people that this video might help, please share it with them and leave me a message and let me know your thoughts on your goals and how you're going to progress towards them. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.